We're almost
And
live.
here we are. Here we are. Oh, it's getting closer. Hello to everybody who's listening live right now. Maybe you're on Facebook Live. Maybe you're on LinkedIn Live. Maybe you're on Gator Vision. See what I did there? Maybe you're listening on the recorded Podbean, on the recorded podcast. No matter what, we are glad to have you along. What's up, Brian, my buddy?
How's it going, Pete, my buddy from Birmingham, Alabama? Are you guys wet? Are you getting a lot of precipitation?
Yeah, we're recording this right now while Hurricane, I believe, Sally is coming across. Not to be confused with Hurricane Lucy or Hurricane Peppermint Patty.
That's, what? 2020, it could be
Hurricane Peppermint Patty coming ashore. Now that's down South Alabama. Yeah, it looks bad down there, but we're in the middle of the state, so we just got some wind and rain. We're okay, man. But thanks for asking. How's your week been?
It's been funny weather-wise because we had that Arctic storm come through. So like last week we were in the 80s, and then it dropped down to the 40s and 30s, and we actually got a bunch of snow, and then all that just evaporated off, and it's hot again, and we're getting the smoke from all the wildfires.
From all the wildfires out there. Yeah. I'll tell you what makes this show great is our buddies like Todd, who just jumps right at 7 o'clock, jumps right on, says, hey, and he knows our names.
He's on time.
Yeah, on time and on budget, man. We appreciate you. Let's go ahead and you ready for the theme song, buddy?
I'm excited about the theme song.
Okay, here we go.
There we are.
It just makes me so happy. Brian Vaghi.
It's Brian.
Just happy.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Episode 23 today. Episode 23. And I want to say hi real quick to my friend who I met at a training conference in Orlando years ago, Pamela, who's watching from Taipei. Brian, we're international again.
Buenos dias.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
That joke never gets old.
Hi, Pamela.
Oh, hey, Pamela. Thanks for joining us. It was so great to meet you at the training conference. Can't wait to connect with you again. We'd love to hear some stories from you about how everything's going in the world of COVID over in Taipei. So I got some news for y'all today. Brian and I are doing a condensed show today. Normally we have 5 or 6 different segments, but what we're going to do is we're going to do our traditional over-under. And then because I took a road trip, of course, to the mothership down in Orlando this past weekend, took a lot of photos and thought we'd share some of these photos and talk about the Disney experience of safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency, what they're doing, but also what you are doing in your organization. Hey, who's this person here, Brian?
Oh, hi, Mom.
Good to know, Mom.
Yeah,
good to know Mom is watching.
Nice to have family on.
You know what's going to make people mad? They normally don't tune in till 7:25 to play over under, and they're in for a big, big shock tonight. Because when are we playing it, buddy? When are we playing it? Oh, we're playing it right now.
We're bumping it up.
We're playing it right now, man. It's time for everybody's favorite leadership statistics game show in the history of game shows, Over and Under. The kids love it. The adults love it. The folks overseas love it. It's actually the only reason I got Brian to do this. He's like, I don't want to be on this stupid. I don't want to co-host. And I said, you could lead a game show. And he said, I'd love to.
I'm in.
Sign me up.
Bell.
All right, buddy. So I'm gonna turn over to my buddy Brian. We're gonna play our game show first. It's time for Over and Under.
All right, let's play Over and Under. So here's how it works. If you don't know, if you've not been with us before, maybe this is your first time joining. I'm going to give Pete a few interesting statistics from the corporate world or the world of leadership and development. He's going to have to decide if the actual number is over or under the number that I give him, and over or under. And yep, and we want to encourage all of you to play along. Type in your answers, over or under, and if you get it right, you'll get a bell, which has no monetary value, but it makes you feel good. So,
no, actually, we just placed an order because we use the bell so often. If you get 3 out of 3, you will get a Leadership and Laughs branded bell right for your own desk. So that's exciting. That'll be what?
I'm being told that that's not the case.
Doggone it all, man. We've got to work with our marketing person.
Expensive. So anyway, folks, while cases of coronavirus tend to surge still in many communities, some companies are beginning to actually start to bring their workers back to the office. Wanted to bring up, according to a recent survey, some workers have some reservations about that, as you can imagine. Of course. So there was a public relations firm called Edelman who surveyed over 3,000 workers from 7 different countries. It was France and Germany and India, Singapore, South Korea, the United Kingdom, and the United States.
That's an internet. That's like us. That's an international type survey, just like us.
Nationally known, and we're known to rock a microphone. This survey, because you tend to ask this from time to time, this survey was done during the week of August 22nd. And we'll go ahead and go over a bit of what they discovered. Sound good?
Let's do it. By the way, let the audience know that I am 6 for 6, I believe. The last 2 weeks, I don't think I've missed one. So pretty excited about it. So if you want to win, pretty much follow whatever I say. Okay.
So I'm going to adjust the Yep. Clearly, I've made it too easy for Pete. No, you're exactly right. You're right on the money.
Very good.
You hear the ding, ding, dings. That's my daughter and my wife texting to each other and including me in that group chat, which is great. So here we go. Pete, what percentage of employees felt that businesses have a responsibility to ensure that their employees are protected from getting and from spreading the COVID-19 virus? Is it over or under 75%?
Okay. I'm going to say this through my mind one more time. So there are 7 countries that were in this survey. You said probably over 1,000 people answered. And give me the statement again.
Over 3,000 people answered. So
okay. From 7 countries.
A large group. And the question is, what percentage of the employees feel that their businesses, the businesses that they work for, actually have a responsibility to ensure that their employees are protected from getting and from spreading COVID-19?
All right. So what we're talking here is personal responsibility versus corporate responsibility. So in Pete's little magical world where I like to live, I would think it would be over 75%, buddy. I would think that any organization worth their weight in salt is going to do everything they can to keep their employees safe and feel that it's their responsibility. However, I firmly believe that it's going to be under because for some reason, I just think that there's a lot of companies who are like, not our job, man. We threw a few hand sanitizers out there. The rest is on you. So I'm going with under.
Now, the company may have said that, but we're talking about the workers, the employees. What percentage of employees feel that their businesses
are okay? I'm still going with the under. I see what you're saying. I was interpreting that wrong, but I'm still going with the under. And you know what? A lot of people are agreeing with me. You got Scott. Mandy's joining us tonight. Hey, Mandy. Todd is there. Joseph. Good to see you. Oh, Joseph also likes to mock us. That again, Joseph likes free things apparently, and apparently next week we will be telling him there's no Leadership and Laugh golf towels.
I like the L&L Bells just kind of rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it does. It does. And my good buddy Bart is here. He's going with it because again, we're a little confused. People were following me. You're saying the workers do the workers feel like the company is set up to protect them?
No.
No. This is the worst. This is why we don't do this first. We're losing audience members by the second. I'm going to shut up, read it, and we're going to go from there.
What percentage of employees surveyed feel that corporations have a responsibility to ensure that their employees are protected from getting and spreading the virus?
What percent feel the company? Gotcha. All right. I'm still going with under. Going with under now. I'm sticking with under. A few folks have changed. They've
over or under 75%.
My buddy Jeff, watching in from Washington, the CEO of a very large organization, he likes to play over and under. He says over. I'm taking the under, which will show that I'm smarter than him. Lay it on me, baby.
It's over. The bell goes to Jeff, and everyone who said over, no bell for Pete. It's actually 78. Hold on. Yeah, 78% of employees feel that it's a responsibility of their businesses to protect them from COVID-19 in the workplace.
Yeah, and the answer is it should be. They should do that. So, okay, good. And again, shows you that my daughter is also smarter than me. So very good. Shanika joining us today. She got it right. Over. Thanks for playing with us tonight. All right, keep going. And again, somehow we have to kick Joseph off the show because all he does is mock.
No way.
Shocking.
We need the third video panel with him over there.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. All right. I got to redeem myself. Here we go.
Talk about trust, Pete. What percentage of employees say they trust their senior managers to make the right call about when to return to the workplace? Over or under 40%.
All right. If you're coming in late to the game, this is a survey of what, Brian? Over 3,000 people across 7 countries. Yeah. So this is international survey, and we're trying to figure out if the employees trust that their managers know, or they trust that their managers will make the right decision as to when to return.
Correct.
Okay.
What percentage of employees say they trust their senior management to make the right call about when to return to the workplace? Over or under 40%? What do you guys say?
All right. We got a few people going. Sherry's going more than that, which, again, as I talk myself through it, trust is the foundation of every organization. It's the trust of every leadership class that we talk about. Without the foundational basis of trust, and I can trust my manager to have my best interest at heart and do the right thing, but do I trust them? Because again, this is all different. Here, Brian, walk me through this. Here's how my brain works.
I can't walk you through how your brain works.
This depends on where you are in life. It depends on your age. It depends on your health conditions. It depends on if you're living with your parents or your grandparents. It depends if you're homeschooling or not. So
I think, Pete, it also probably depends on whether or not these employees trust their senior management to begin with. In other words, if I had a lot of trust in my organization, I'm probably not going to suddenly not trust them about when, to make the right call.
Yep. So we got a lot of people saying there's a lack of trust. Mandy's saying under, Joseph saying under, Jeff, good job with the under, Scott with the under, Bart with the under, Shanika feeling positive that people are going to trust, and my buddy Robert just with a good old-fashioned hello. He looks a lot like Tom Petty, my buddy Robert. So, Jeff brings up a very good point. It's all. I mean, I was listening to sports radio coming home today, and they were talking about how every decision now with everything in life has a political, like you can't have a discussion with anybody about anything. And I'm like, I guess there could be a political view as to when you think you trust people to come back to work. Oh, you're doing it for political reasons. I'm going to go with the under, buddy. I'm going to say there's not a lot of trust. It is going to be under 40%. Lay it on me.
It is under 40%. And not only is it it's way under 40%. Only 14% of employees said they trust senior management to make the right call about when. happening again. So
14%.
14%.
14%.
You're one for one.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Give us the third one, baby. I'm ready.
All right. Last one. Speaking of trust, what percentage of employees say they trust that working from home will not hurt their careers?
Under. I don't even know what you said yet. Sorry.
I'll say it again. What percentage of employees say that they trust that working from home will not hurt their careers in the long run? Over or under 50%?
It's under. Listen, I as an extrovert and a person who lives in that world, there is something about being in the workplace, Brian, where you are interacting with people. You're seeing how they're responding to conflict. You're watching their work ethic. People are putting on a good face at work to kind of move around the organization. But now that I'm at home, even if I'm hitting my deliverables and hitting my output, you're not able to see the other sides of me that may put me on a career path. And so I think it's going to be a struggle for a lot of people. Now, you, on the other hand, do a lot of remote work to begin with, so it's ingrained in your culture. But I think for a lot of people who aren't used to it, I really think that some of them are gonna struggle with this whole idea of career progression. Now, Mandy is Scott. Okay, my buddy Scott says under. Robert is saying I'm stupid and taking the opposite point, which is probably safe. Going with over. Let's see. Joseph is under. Bart is under. Madison is over. All right. We're all over the place, buddy. What do you got for me?
I'm giving this bell to Madison Grace Blank. It's over. And not only is it over, it's way over. 74%.
Think that by working remotely,
almost
is going to hurt their
3/4 of the workforce says that they believe that working from home will not hurt their careers, and 73%, just one less, said that they plan to continue working remotely for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, that's again, that's surprise. Maybe there's a lot more of the remote work going on. Or maybe there's so much of a sense of trust in these other organizations across these 7 countries. I know where I work in local government, where people are remote and everywhere and now used to be there. I got to be careful how I say this. There's a value placed on FaceTime. And we're trying to change that. We're trying to shift, but FaceTime with the boss, I'm there early, I'm staying late, all that can be measured and valued. Working remotely, a lot of people, may not believe that. So Jeff also was surprised by that. Joseph, again, was surprised. Bart says maybe because everybody's in the same boat. Yeah, it could be. It could be.
They trust that working from home is not going to hurt their careers, which, I would be in that group too. Working from home, I've been doing it for a long time now, but yeah, I kind of miss being in that office environment. But at the same time, I feel like remote work is working for me.
But how do you sell yourself, Brian? How do you make sure that your career progression? I mean, I know you have one. To me, it's the intangibles. It's got to be the intangibles. It's got to be culture fit. It's got to be, because anybody can prove that they're doing the work remotely. The challenge is, what do I see? And if I can't see and hear and feel, I don't know. We'll see. And again, maybe you've been doing it for so long and you've had career progression. You may experience that.
A little
bit. Very good. And of course, thank you to my daughter for, again.
Yay! Good job, Madison.
And I'm glad she didn't say take that farter. So that would have been something she would have said also. Well, everybody, thanks for playing. Thanks for playing over under. It was very good for me to kind of get humbled back to earth. And let's see what we got. Oh, buddy, what does that music mean?
I'm pretty excited about this segment.
I think the music means it's time for the Daily Disney. It's the 2 Disney dudes who delighted in the deliciousness of the Daily Disney.
Oh, there's a little.
It was deciduous. It was deliberate. It was delightful. We got delirious on a daily.
Dorky.
What's that?
We were a little dorky.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know how to stop it. Okay, there we go. I couldn't find the button. Hey, real quick, just to go back one time, Bart says, I wonder how many surveyor takers were introverts who were like, hey, I'm here, I'm loving this, and it's going to help my career progression. So yeah, good point there. All right, everybody, we're going to have some fun today. Here's what I want you to do. I did what everybody said that I should not do, Brian, and that is I left the bubble of Trussville, Alabama, got onto a Southwest Airlines flight last Thursday, took it on down to the cities of Lake Buena Vista and Bay Lake, Florida, and spent some time at the magical world of Disney. Number one, just to get away for the weekend, but also so I could bring back some content for us to talk about how is Disney handling the pandemic? How are they handling the 4 quality standards, which you see at the bottom there, of safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency. And we've got them rolling on the screen now. If you're listening to the Podbean podcast or listening in your car, again, the 4 quality standards are safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency, with safety always being first. We're going to show a lot of pictures during this time, but what we'll do is we'll explain a few of the pictures so that if you're listening in your car, you're not like, I don't even know. We're like, look at this one. Look at that one, Brian.
Oh, goodness. I can't believe
that one was odd. Can you believe that?
I can't believe that's how they dress Cinderella now.
And all the people will be like, I don't know what you're talking about. So we'll kind of walk through this. Here's what I would encourage y'all to do. If you're watching on Facebook Live or on LinkedIn Live, put some comments in there as we go to talk about what your company is doing. Talk about what your organization is doing. Maybe put in a question for us. Maybe say, would that work in my organization? Or how do they get away with that? Or where do you find the intrinsic value in that, Pete and Brian? And we can kind of talk through some of these, because I got to be honest, this is all we got for the rest of the show. We really didn't prepare anything else.
Probably not going to care about this.
Although we could talk Big Ten football and the leadership or lack thereof, but we will not go there, Big Ten country. We're glad you finally got as cool as the SEC did. That is the most important part. So, all right, Brian, we begin with good old-fashioned Disney signage. Now, the first thing I noticed when I got to Disney theme parks is there are signs everywhere. And there's a couple things that I want to make people aware of about the signage. Number one, if you know Disney, Brian, and I know you do because we work there, you know that they stamp their logo on everything. You can't walk 5 feet without a hidden Mickey or a Disney logo being on something. But the interesting part of the signage is no Disney markings whatsoever. What do you think about that? What's the strategy behind that?
Well, they don't want to be co-branded along with COVID.
Correct. So again, something to think about as you're, setting up all your signs and all of your memos and all of your things. You'll notice that these COVID-19 warnings that they have here, this one you're seeing on your screen right now is there were 5 A-frames, Brian, before we got into downtown Disney the first night. So I'll show you a couple of these, which again, just say that, COVID-19 is happening. So there's one. The next one we saw right behind this that says, things are required to come in. You've got to have a face covering. You've got to have your temperature screened, and you got to stay 6 feet apart. And it was interesting to see the people try and enforce this throughout the areas.
The other thing that just hit me is there's probably some self-awareness there that, listen, we're going to have, there's going to be lots of Mickeys and there's going to be lots of, Disney branded, logos and markings and whatever, but we want you to take this part seriously. This is it's not, quote unquote, a Mickey Mouse problem.
Well done. Well said.
It's almost jarring, isn't it, to see the sign without any branding?
Absolutely. I mean, as soon as you get in there, like I said, we haven't even gone in, and my wife corrected me. She says, you're dating yourself by calling it Downtown Disney. My bad.
I didn't even.
So we stopped by. Yeah. Well, we stopped by Pleasure Island on the way. No, Disney Springs. Thank you, sweetie. Disney Springs. So again, these health and safety reminders that you see in this one that says wear a face covering, again, exact same content, but a different A-frame.
These are all
now again,
village.
This is before you are allowed in. These are lined up before you. Now, this one says face coverings are to be worn at all times except when eating or drinking while stationary and physically distanced. Now, I think we talked about this on a show, Brian. earlier, Disney had to change this because what their original concept is if you're eating or drinking, you don't have to wear your mask.
Right.
And what were people doing?
People would grab a Coke and then just walk around with no mask.
Right.
They would say, "Oh no, I got a Coke."
Got a Coke. So now they've added it that you have to be stationary while you are eating and drinking at all times. And the fifth one here, again, just like everything else, it's got a health and safety notice. Here's the things. So 5 of these A-frames, Brian, that are pretty much all saying the same thing. And here's what I take away from this. It's just as important for Disney to market the safety that they're creating as it is to provide the safety. And I think that's a lesson we all can take away. As long as you show me that you're putting your best foot forward and trying your best and doing all these things to keep me safe. So it's important for them not just to put these in place, but also tell you about all the things that we have in place.
Yeah, I think that Disney does a really good job of obviously Disney does a good job of telling a good story, and
right.
And I don't mean that sarcastically. You not only need to have that safety component, but you need to tell the story of why you're doing that.
Correct. And it's a beautiful segue, my friend, into the next photo, which is out of order. I apologize for this. But when we got into our hotel at the Disney Vacation Club, you'll see that they have left little A-frames in the room that tell you everything that they are cleaning. So again, they could just do it. And then when they ask the front desk, hey, are you, oh yeah, we're doing enhanced cleaning. But they literally have created this graphic. I'll pull it full screen for you here so you can see it. That says that they are going to do all these extra wipe downs of door handles and light switches and the beverage area and the bedding. There's no pillows in the room anymore. The remote control was sort of wrapped up. So again, it's important, Brian, for it to be done, but it's also important for your organization to tell people. And why do we got to tell people what we're doing? Because you're trying to give the impression that safety is first.
And the opposite is true as well. I know that on this show, we talked a few episodes ago about a certain airline who said they were going to do all of this enhanced cleaning and put back. And as it turns out, they were going to not do all of the points they originally.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Change their mind along the way. Yes, they did. Oops, get out of there, buddy. All right. So here's a couple more signs. So this is, again, this whole segment is just about signage. So again, if you're watching this, I'm going to ask you to put something in the comments, if you don't mind. I feel like I'm leading a training class all of a sudden, but this is a sign at a merchandise shop. Let me show you the merchandise. You've got a lot of Pirates of the Caribbean, Halloween costumes for kids. You got fun hats that they're going to want to try on. And so there's all these neat things. And there's a sign that says, for your safety, maintain physical distancing. And then on the right side, it says, help us protect the magic. Please limit the handling of this product. If assistance is needed, please ask a cast member. If it was not Disney and you were just speaking the words you wanted to speak, what would this sign say, Brian? In just 2 or 3 words. What are they really telling people?
Don't touch this stuff.
Don't touch. Yeah. I mean, the hands off. Please don't touch. All this stuff. But how do they phrase it, Brian? Help us protect the magic. Help us protect the magic. And again, we don't tell you can't touch it, but we say, please limit your handling of this product. So again, yeah. My wife, Sherry, says, don't touch. That's just what the lesson, don't touch. But again, that's so harsh and it's so wrong. So again, also what you're trying to do is you're trying to get buy-in, Brian. So again, it's not just us telling you, we're asking you as the guest, as the customer, to help be part of our process. You're playing it, Brian, as a guest, you're playing a huge role in helping us. That makes you almost an honorary cast member,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought that was really good by their marketing team. All right, so now we're getting ready to go into downtown Disney Springs. Brian, what do you notice here as we're heading into the theme park? This is a picture of what?
This is a picture of employees who are taking the temperature of guests coming in, And what I notice is that they're wearing shirts that say Advent Health. Are they not Disney cast members?
Excellent. Disney has decided to outsource the people in their theme parks and some restaurants and Disney Springs to take the temperatures. All right. Give me some business rationale behind that, buddy.
There's a different weight of authority behind somebody who is a medical professional taking your temperature than a Disney college program cast member who's, that's their shift.
Yep.
So do these people take that temperature any better than a cast member could? No.
No.
But this is a healthcare professional now.
Yes.
And say, I'm sorry, you can't come in because your temperature is 102 degrees and you're clearly coughing inside your mask. Then that also sort of probably, I'm assuming, limits some of the liability of a Disney cast member or employee letting them go in.
I agree 100%. And I think it also helps with the marketing and the magic. Disney isn't keeping you from coming in.
Right.
It's these Advent Health people who are so it just, and you'll see one or two. There's a new one that came out today, Brian. If you're on TikTok or Twitter, you'll see some crazy people at Disney who don't want to wear masks, who are being kicked off or who are being left, But again, this is the majority of people you see in these pictures are fine. We're wearing masks. We're getting our temperatures. It's just part of what's going on. I think, Robert, you nailed it here. Robert said it separates Disney from what the guests may consider being uncomfortable. Yeah, you nailed it. Absolutely. All right. So we've gone through signage. We've gone through the temperature check. Now let's talk about, again, Disney transportation, monorails, skyliners, boats. This is a picture that I've got up here, if you're listening, is a shot of the inside of the monorail. What looks different to you in the monorail, buddy?
So there appears to be some sort of a shade drawn down between the two sides of the monorail car, which, to be honest, I think they should have put. I would have been happy to see that back in 1982. I want to see all the people in the other part of the car, but yeah, there's a divider there.
Yeah, and that's something new that Disney has put up. Now, again, your medical professionals are going to say things like, well, that doesn't do any good, Brian, because if there's germs in there, the germs can get around that. The germs can get under that. I mean, it's more of a shield to keep.
It's not full,
again,
but it's better than nothing. It's like the mask. The mask doesn't. Unless you're wearing an N95 surgical mask, it's not 100% foolproof, but it does cut it down a little bit.
Yep. Bart brings up a good point. Bart says Disney has to walk a fine line now between safety and the show. There's 4 gates, again, to pass through to enter a theme park now. You got to pay to park, then you got to get your temperature checked, then you got to get your bags pawed through. Although, Bart, I did go through the Epcot International Gateway had the new thing where you don't have to have your bags looked through. You just hold it and walk through the x-ray machine. So they're not going through it and then show your ticket. So it's almost off-putting if you want a magical experience. Bart, you nailed it there. If you're going to Disney now, you'll get a good experience, but it's not the perfect magical experience people have already found out.
Like Karen Smith just said, it's better than nothing. It's better than not having the shield there.
Yes, you're 100% right. So again, having the shield there, again, it goes back to we're trying to do everything we possibly can. Leave it to my marketing wife that says that there should be marketing on that scrim of some kind. There's not a Disney logo on that bad boy.
I'm stunned that there's not.
Yeah, me too. Real quick, and I don't know the answer to this, but again, Joseph says the people at Advent Health who are taking your temperature, are they really healthcare professionals? Do they have certifications? Do they have degrees? Or are they just, are there so many entrances in theme parks and resorts that you just have to take people who work there, teach them how to take your temp and kind of move on? So that's a good point. Bart's going to look into that. We'll kind of look into that as well. All right, let's go to the buses. Ooh. So again, Brian, Safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency. The reason I'm showing you all of this is that safety is winning out every time. Every time. Because riding a Disney bus now takes a lot longer. It is not efficient whatsoever because they have these, back in the day, they could cram people onto buses, take every seat, go down the middle of the aisle, stand there, hold everything. And what they've had to do is block off a lot of seats. And when you come up to get on a Disney bus, they'll say, how many? And even if you say one, he'll say, you're in seats number 5. And even if another party of 1 comes, they're not putting you next to that person. So everybody is all spread out on this bus that probably used to be able to take 80 people. You cram them in. We were riding on buses that had 20, 15 people on them. And in addition, the bus drivers have to come off of the bus, ask how many, get you in there. So it's slowing the process down, but that's okay. Why, Brian? What comes first?
Safety is our number 1 priority.
Safety's our number 1 priority at the end of the day. So that's got to happen. My wife also works in healthcare, Joseph. She says that they're probably not the highly skilled medical professionals, as long as you can point and shoot that the end of that. What do you call it?
It's a laser
thermometer. Yeah, it's a laser. It's a laser. Yeah.
You know, I don't think in my entire adult life of working or visiting Disney, I ever got to sit on a Disney bus.
No.
Because even if I was one of the first ones in, they crammed so many people that there was always somebody who looked like they needed to sit more than I did, and I would stand. And now I guess that's not a problem anymore.
You are the Southern gentleman, my friend. All right, so let's talk about masks. Again, masks, which is fun to say. Go ahead, Brian. Masks.
Masks. I'm sorry, I the pretty girl in the picture.
Oh, that's my smoking hot wife. So here we are wearing our masks in the theme parks. And I bet you wonder, hey, do the cast members wear masks? Does everybody wear a mask? And the answer is yes. Cast members, you'll see in this picture here, we've also got an attractions cast member who is wearing a face shield. So you would think, well, why are they wearing a face shield? They're not that close to people. Most of your Disney cast members are wearing either a face shield or the white goggles, the clear goggles of some kind. Even if you're in attractions, even if you're not in food and beverage, even if you're not in custodial, they're just out there. Again, number 1, keeping the cast members safe, but number 2, giving that information to the guests that, hey, we're taking this seriously. We want you to take this seriously. Here's It's a Small World. The gentleman doesn't come into contact with people at all as he's loading and unloading, but he's got a mask on. And here's a very awful shot in the Canada Pavilion at Epcot. They've chosen not to wear face shields. They're just wearing the masks like all of us wear. Now, here's the great story I want to tell you, Brian. 3 times, and Sherry can correct me if I'm wrong, it could be 3 to 5 times, we saw cast members of different roles approaching guests and telling them in a nice way that you're not wearing your mask correctly. So there was a custodial host who was emptying things, and I saw a woman walking towards us who had her mask just under her nose, and he stopped doing the trash, walked her and said, I'm sorry, ma'am, you have to have that cover your nose the entire time. Then we were in a line for an attraction, and an attractions host went to somebody and said, hey, real quick, you have to raise that up. Then we were walking, a gentleman was doing strollers at Epcot, and there was a person at the water fountain who had just sat down for a minute and pulled their mask down just to sit, I guess, and breathe for a moment. He left his position at the strollers, walked up to her and said, ma'am, I'm sorry, your mask has to be on the entire time. So when we asked one of the cast members about it, they said it was ingrained into them that they must coach, develop, talk to. If you see it, you have to, because once one or two guests start seeing other guests not being told, then you know how that happens, Brian. It becomes a whole herd mentality, and people start going, well, if they're not wearing theirs, why am I going to wear mine? So it was so interesting to see that it wasn't like a call a manager thing or ask somebody else. This rule is in place to keep people safe, and they were enforcing it. They were enforcing it big time.
Yeah, that can also be sticky or political, like Jeff was saying. You know, if you're correcting one person and not another, somebody will find a reason why they think you should do that.
Right. Absolutely. You're 100% correct on that. So there you go, buddy. There's our mask story. So now let's keep going and talk about queue lines. Who loves queue lines at Disney?
Wait. Answer Holly's question. Were guests grumpy about that when they were coached?
That's a very from what I saw, it was almost all three people that I saw, it was a sense of, it wasn't a how dare you, it wasn't a who do you think you are, it was a, oh, I sort of got caught and kind of put it back on. Sherry agrees with me. They all complied while we were watching without making a scene. So there was nobody. Now, if you, like I said, if you look on Twitter today or anywhere out there, you'll find videos of Disney security escorting people out of the parks. But again, from a consistency standpoint, it's fantastic to see most of it. And we've got what's called a relaxation station that we'll explain to you in just a second. And I'll go ahead and show you that. But again, talking about queue lines, not a lot of theming on this, Brian. And my wife and I were talking about this. We're like, well, these are just basic arrows on the ground. You know, this doesn't say Disney at all. And these are everywhere. If you're listening, there's a sign on the floor that says, please wait here. Every 6 feet in a queue line, it says, please wait here. So my wife and I are talking, well, where in the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction, there should be a pirate on here or a Walt Disney World logo or something. And then we started thinking, well, it's probably a financial decision. You start doing a batch order of 10,000 of these, it's a lot less than 1,000 themed to Epcot or 1,000 themed to the Magic Kingdom or whatever it may be. So, you know, it probably comes down to that.
Yeah, and I see that the font on here is it's slightly themed. It's a little Magic Kingdom-y.
Yes, but this is the same one you're going to see at all of the parks and Disney Springs. And it was funny too, Brian, to watch this. There's a lot of switchback queue. Well, first of all, this is Pirates of the Caribbean. Let me tell you real quick. There's social distancing on all these rides. So so in this boat, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. They've only got 3 of the rows filled. If you look at this particular boat, they're only going to fill 3 of them. So they're spreading people apart based on the family size, based on the group. Depending on who there is. And so it takes longer to load. Here's Splash Mountain. Here's a picture of Splash Mountain. You'll see they only filled the first and the last boat. Well, take a look at this one. These people got a boat. Now, there's still a 45-minute wait, and they're sending out boats that could seat 8 with only 2. That is the furthest thing from courtesy. That is the furthest thing from efficiency. You know, the whole thing we used to talk about was hourly operational ride capacity. Disney trains you in attractions. You cram as many people in. We got to get them through. We got a number to hit, all of this. But what probably happened here was the people behind them in line was probably a family of 6 or 8 or something like that. And by the time they got them all, they said, nope, this is good. I can't have a party of 2. So you just go. So this here again is it's just fascinating. It's just fascinating that safety, they truly are. People have said they feel safer at Disney than going to their grocery store. They truly are putting safety first ahead of courtesy, show, and efficiency, which is okay because that's what we're all dealing with right now. So where was I going with that? But before I saw the
you were just
here. Queue lines.
Efficiency just takes a giant hit in order to provide that safety and in order to have the show, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a financial hit. Again, the way that it was explained to us is Disney's still losing money every day. They're just not losing as much as they would. But take a look at this. This is a picture of a queue line at It's a Small World. And there's so many switchbacks. And switchbacks mean you just go one way and make a U-turn and come back and make a U-turn and come back, that they put up these plexiglass. Now, if you're claustrophobic, you are not going to like this because you are crammed in there, single file. It's now about 6 feet up. So it's to the top of your head. And the markings on the ground, people are staying behind the 6 feet. So people, are moving forward. But it's just another way that they're trying to tell people we're doing everything we possibly can to keep you safe. We are putting 6 feet apart stickers on the ground. We are putting up plexiglass barriers so you can't breathe on each other. They're doing everything they can. Thank you, Bart. Again, the lawyers are are probably driving the bus. I like Karen. Have a woman saying, mind the gap. Mind the gap, please. Mind the gap, please. That would be cool. All right, let's talk about food and beverage, buddy. What do you notice about this at my resort? Anything different about getting your fruit in the morning before you start out for the day?
Well, I'm a little surprised that are they individually wrapped? I can't tell from the picture.
The bananas are not, because you don't eat the banana peel. The oranges are not, because you don't eat the orange peel. But
okay.
Now, the apples didn't used to be like this, but
Right.
they individually wrap in saran wrap every single apple because you're going to eat the skin. Again, one of those things where takes a little more time, takes a little more money, takes a little more effort, but we're doing everything we can to create that sort of safe environment. Now, we're still going to charge you just for fun. Where was this? We're still going to charge you $2.29 for an apple.
Oh, it takes extra.
Which would you get? By the way, $2.29. Would you get, just based on a price point, would you get a banana, an apple, or an orange and say that's the best value? Because they've priced them all the same. Which do you think is the best value?
I'll tell you what, if those are Honeycrisp apples, then the apple's the best value.
What if they're Golden Delicious?
I don't like Golden Delicious.
Probably not. Okay. What if these are California oranges?
Why would they have California oranges at Florida's Walt Disney?
It's well done, sir. All right. So let's move on. Keeping in the food and beverage, what do you notice here? This is a picture of Dixie Ultra. Back in the old days, if you all remember, in the old days when you want to get a plastic knife, fork, or spoon, you press a button and maybe a bunch would come out, or you stick your hands in there, or you've got to pay for the prepackaged ones. You don't pay for it, but you do, that are all individually wrapped. This is a new thing that I found out. It's so awesome. One fork comes out, one spoon comes out, one knife comes out. So when you pull one, a new one comes out. And it's a new investment in their machines, which I thought was pretty neat from a safety perspective. You ever seen those before?
No, I've never seen anything like that before. And, if you're like me, if I'm getting a burger and fries, I might need a knife just to kind of spread around the ketchup and the mayo, but I don't need a spoon and a fork. So it cuts down waste too. There's a little of efficiency built in there.
Well done, because if you get the whole package already together, you're just going to throw them away. So love that. Thought that was a great food and beverage one. All right, let's talk about. I got two more to go. Let's talk about cleanliness. All right, hand sanitizers are everywhere. Everywhere, at the beginning of an attraction, at the end of an attraction, in the walkways. And again, these aren't themed either, Brian. These are just good old fashioned. I believe that the company here is called Tuffner. So Tuffner got the contract, but they are touchless and you put your hand under there. And again, people don't yell at each other. I thought that there'd be a queue line afterwards of people going, hurry up, I'm trying to get mine. People are waiting patiently because they just touched an attraction. They just touched an escalator, handrail, and everyone. There's a huge sort of buy-in by people who are going to the parks right now that I want to stay safe and I want to help others be safe. It's kind of like this whole people brought in together. So I thought it was pretty cool to see these. I mean, you see them everywhere. You see them all over the parks. Now, something you also saw that nobody used, Brian, is this picture of a hand washing machine. Now, Disney does a good job of theming all of their trash cans, but this is not themed. This is just a good old-fashioned hand washing machine. It is gray. It is foot powered, and it's got soap and paper towels next to it. But I can tell you, there's only about 5 to 10 of these scattered throughout the theme parks we went to. I didn't see a single person using them. Tell me why, because I have my opinion. And there's no right answer, by the way. Why? Those of you who are looking at the picture right now of this gray hand washing station, give us your thoughts in the comments. Why do you think that over the course of 3 days and walking everywhere, I did not see a single person washing their hands at this location?
Well, I wonder if it's, Pete, because of all the sanitizer stations. It's just a lot easier to it's a lot faster and easier to hit with some sanitizer, even though washing your hands for 20 seconds is more effective.
I am buying what you're selling, my buddy Holly. is also buying what you're selling. Sanitizer is faster. It's more of a themed thing. My take is this. This reminds me of porta potties. This reminds me of going to a circus or an outdoor concert where they have porta potties set up, and this is where people are washing their hands. It's got these hoses coming out of it that are going somewhere with the water. For some reason, it's got the do not drink, do not drink on it, which means is it potable? Is it non-potable? There's something about it that just makes me say, I'll wait for a hand sanitizer station, because it doesn't look themed. It doesn't look nice. It doesn't look approachable, for lack of a better word. And I'm so into the Disney show that this was jarring. This was jarring to me. Now, Robert says it's hard to say what it is. I'm buying. You have no clue what that is if you don't know that. Karen also says it's not in a good spot, as does Joseph, that the reason why it's in this spot is it has to be close to a water source.
Yeah.
So this is something that I think they put out there, but I don't think people are taking advantage of.
I'll tell you this, and when I saw those hand sanitizer stations and how you said they're everywhere, I don't know if all of our listeners have the same experience, but when I go out to go grocery shopping, or if I'm going to hit the Costco or something like that at Target, they'll have occasionally hand sanitizer stations, and almost always they're empty. And I imagine that Disney's are not, and that they have somebody whose responsibility is to check that and make sure they are full of hand sanitizer at all times.
Dude, did you work there? Did you used to work there? I couldn't get a picture of them in time, but there was a custodial. Custodial hosts have certain jobs, and you can tell when they're pushing certain things and what they're doing. There's a brand new. It almost looks like a shopping cart, and it actually has a custodial logo on the front of it, and it's filled with nothing but these big old 64-ounce things of hand sanitizer. And there had to be like 20 of them on this. And you can tell this gentleman's job is just to walk to all these machines. He's the hand sanitizer guy. So it was a constant flow. So that was funny that you say that. Joseph says the same thing. If they've got hand wipes somewhere, they're always dry. So people are surprised when they actually go there and there's stuff coming out. It's a nice guest satisfier. And it's safety too. All right, last thing, buddy. Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, not yet. Let's talk about cleanliness one more time. So my wife and I ventured over to Fort Wilderness, and we petted the backside of a pony here for quite some time. They couldn't get the pony to turn around, so I think he was having a good time with us. But we were asking them about cleanliness and what they do. And they're saying that after every single pony ride and horse ride, they have to wipe down all of these saddles. Some of them have to go to a major disinfectant place. All the helmets have to go into this bucket and go out. And I said, what else do you clean? And they said, see these rails that you're leaning on? And I said, yes. And they said, we wipe these down every hour. And I said, well, just the top ones, right? She said, no. Every hour we come out and we wipe down every one of these rails, top to bottom, all the way down with the disinfectant and the hand sanitizer. So then we talked about the attractions and what have they heard there, because we experienced it. And they said, did you have any downtimes on the attractions? And I said, yeah, it seemed like every time we were there, they were like pausing for certain reasons. She's like, every 2 hours, I think they said 2 hours, maybe they said 1 hour, but I think they said every 2 hours, they're stopping and running Spaceship Earth and Small World boats, and everything gets run through with somebody wiping it off, and then they get in after that every 2 hours. So while it may not be perfect, it is safety, but it does make the lines longer. Again, because people have to wait to cycle everything through to kind of wipe everything down. So again, it's just, I was blown away with how they have literally said we have 4 quality standards: safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency. But during COVID, we have 1. I'm sorry we may not be being as courteous as we used to be. I'm sorry that our show elements aren't working. I'm sorry we're not being as efficient. We're focused on one thing. And you have to expect that right now when you go down there, or you're not going to have a good you're not going to have a good experience.
Or just don't go.
Right. Just wait. Yep, yeah. You're 100% correct. All right, last thing, and then because we're getting close on time, buddy. All right, the Disney difference. What's Disney doing, though? What are they doing to make things even better and enhanced? Well, again, there's no parades. There's no fireworks. There's no character greetings. So they have some things called cavalcades where one float will come down at random times. You can wave at characters. When you come into the Magic Kingdom, again, they've got all the dancers and some of the characters here. This is a picture of the characters on Town Square looking down, waving at you. It's fun to watch parents try and put their kids in a certain position, and then they get down with their cameras and try and shoot it so that the character's over the backside of the thing. But so that's something nice, I thought, that they were doing. They're doing the same thing on the back of Cinderella's castle, where, and I've never seen this before, but this is the backside of Cinderella's castle, and they've put the ugly stepsisters, or the two stepsisters. I'm sorry, you probably can't say ugly stepsisters anymore. The two stepsisters are up there, two characters who are talking and yelling and arguing, and again, trying to get some of that Disney magic and energy into a park where a lot of that has been removed for safety reasons. So I thought that was really neat. All right, I talked about the relaxation station. These are in all the theme parks. You can take off your mask at this location. So they've got a cast member there. He tells you if you want to come in at your own risk, you can come to this location here. You can stand, you can sit. You can see the tables are still socially distanced. But if you want to take off your mask and you're not eating and not drinking, it's okay. You can do it here. So that's kind of cool. Oh, Bart says, see, we got to get Bart on more often. He's a former Disney cast member as well, who now just lives down there and visits every now and then. So they do run a 6-car Pixar parade at closing time. Closing time.
Talk about the trash cans, Pete.
The trash cans are coming. I'm almost there. How much time we got left, buddy? 3 minutes. Let's go fast. All right. One more thing. Take a look at the sign, Brian. For your safety, this is not available. This is a queue line in the Snow White's Mine Train, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train ride, where all of these crystals used to light up, and the kids used to touch them, and they would do different things. And you can see these girls in this picture who are looking over going, man, we used to be able to kind of touch these. The sign doesn't say do not touch. The sign doesn't say closed or broken. Their signage says for your safety, this is not available at this time. And you see that on all of the things around the parks that are designed for kids to touch. They're reinforcing the message, even to the parents and the kids, for your safety, this is not available at this time, which I thought was kind of neat. And finally, the trash can, the piece de resistance, my friend. This is bad show to a T. If you ever saw this at a Disney theme park and you were working there as a cast member, you would go and like push the top, because these tops should never be open, Brian.
Right.
These tops, because it's bad show. No one wants to see inside the trash can.
Right.
But what they've done for all of their trash cans in the theme parks and resorts is they've propped them open with nothing more than zip ties. So they literally connected the two tops of the trash can with zip ties so that they're open all the time so that you don't have to touch it when you're throwing away your trash. Is that bad show? Absolutely. Is it safer for people?
Yeah,
absolutely,
sure,
as well. So again, it just ties into the fact I can't be any more clear about that's what we're focused on, buddy, is safety, safety, safety. So the question is, what are you going to do in your organization to give this type of feeling of safety? Brian, what are some things that your organization's doing?
Well, I work for a healthcare organization, and so we are having to remind both our employees and the patients that we see. Patients equal guests in this analogy, that COVID is still a thing, and for your safety, you have to wear a mask if you're coming into one of our offices, and for your safety, one of our employees will wear protective equipment when we go into your home, that kind of thing. But part of my job as a marketing and communications guy is to make sure that story is being told as well.
Right. Again, it's not just showing safety, it's marketing safety. So that's my takeaway from my trip is not only are they doing it, they're telling you we're doing it. And the announcements, Brian, that came over are so jarring because you don't expect to be walking down Main Street and hearing the music and getting the theme and then having somebody about every 10, 15 minutes, as a reminder, please do social distancing, all that stuff. So Anyhow, but I hear our theme music in the back. What does that mean?
That means it's time to go. This is another
That means it's
episode of Leadership and Laughs in the Book.
We had a good time tonight. Thank you all for listening along. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for doing that. We got some new people tonight. Bart is new. Karen is new. Robert, a new person. Thanks to everybody and to all of our regulars. We appreciate you. Tell a friend about this every Wednesday night, buddy, at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. And that's episode 23 in the books, man. How'd we do? We always like to rate ourselves.
I'd give this one an A, Pete. You did a really good job, and I appreciate your bringing all that stuff back and the visuals and the stories. And I didn't know a lot of that already, so it's fascinating for those of us who have been cast members to see what they're doing during these times.
Yep. So do what you can as a leader in your organization and keep everybody safe. Brian, you stay safe out in Colorado from the wildfires.
And you stay safe from the hurricanes there in Alabama.
Sure will. We'll see you all next week. Thanks, everybody.
Love you guys. Bye.